Don't do it. You need a whole team to make that game the right way.
When you kind of tackled this a little bit with being a specialist and like if you're good at story or you're good at programming, but in the indie dev world, in the indie dev sphere specifically, I feel personally that fun is kind of being lost a little bit when it comes, and a lot of people, at least when starting out, a lot of indie devs want to make their big grand world open games with detailed story and super nice graphics and lore and everything. And I think fun gets kind of pushed to the side sometimes. I know when I was younger, I skipped cutscenes and everything, and I just wanted to, blow off the enemies' heads and stuff, not whatnot. Um, so, do you think that fun might be lost when indie devs are trying to get into the, game devs sector, making their own projects, not into like a real company, but building their own? And would you recommend like not focusing on, say, story for like the first 10 or 20 games while they're building out their projects?
First, don't make a big game. That's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Do not make an
Yeah.
RPG. Don't
Yeah.
make something that has streaming levels and open world anything. Like that's ridiculous. Uh, there's people that you can see if you do some Google, some you Googling on or whatever, searching on YouTube, you'll find people who have said that they're going to do that, and then they chronicle their efforts, and then it just fails. There's no way. So don't do it. You need a whole team to make that game the right way. If you make an RPG, uh, like a small RPG, you have to be really senior. Get it done in a reasonable amount of time. Otherwise, you will never finish that game. So don't even think about it. Keep it in the back of your head because the more experience that you have, the better you will see how your initial idea needs to change to fit what a real game takes, like what it takes to make a real game. There are compromises all the time when you're making a game. There's like, hey, I want to be able to do this. The programmer's like, hey, you can't do that because blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, what if we did it this way? Yeah, we can do it like that. Okay, good. Compromise. Um, but yeah, you need to like stories. There's nothing wrong with story. It's like you can make a game. As an example, I have a game I made in 10 hours and it has a super messed up story, like disturbing story. It was done while making the game. Like the story was put in there. It's not a great story, but it's a story that is effective, for what it is. It was a 10-hour game and it's up on the App Store. It's all over the place. It was called July 4th, 1976, and it was made in 10 hours with just me and a friend. Um, and that story just happened while making, like, there was an initial idea of what we're trying to do because it was a game jam. And so the goal is this: what if we did it this way? And it's like, all right, let's make it happen. And then as we're like making the game, it's like, oh, all these things could happen. Like when you click on these items, we could give you more of the story. And all these, no matter what you click on, it just keeps adding to the lore that's building about this whole location and what has been going on there. And so you're trying to find the little shreds of stories. You're clicking on everything because that's basically what the game gives you is just text to give you a story, and then sometimes you'll find a key or whatever. But like it is a story game, but it's very creepy. The music is eerie. It's all like the sound effects. It's like it's all bad. So you can do that, like you would think playing that game that it is completely about the story when most of the work was all in just making it happen, in just programming it, getting the graphics together, making the scenes go from one to the other, all that work, like that's what all the time was. It was not in crafting the best story. The story happened while making the game. Like, and it just came out that way because I've been making the games for a really long time. Um, but like make focus on like if you're a writer and you want to make a game and you want to write, come up with something that is totally doable that you are talking to a programmer about how long do you want to spend on this. It's like, oh, I just want to do it in a month. Okay, what do you want to do? I want to do blah 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 blah, and then they'll scope you back They'll tell you what
Yeah.
can be done, and then you figure out how does your vision fit in that time frame, and does your story change to fit that time frame, or is it just a piece of a bigger story? Are you going to do the first chapter of it or something? You figure out like how do you make your vision happen with a teammate and make that first piece. There's nothing wrong with not having the second piece. Where's PT? Like that, it wasn't done, right? There's a demo. You're making a demo. So just just start it. Just make it, scope it down, finish a little piece. You might have some really good ideas because players will give you feedback. And it's like, I never thought about that. That's a really cool idea. And you would have made something different, and it's always good to get people's feedback because that's what they want. A lot of times they're telling you what they want, and so you figure out, okay, people like this angle, so let me just play into that. And now they're really into it, versus at the very beginning, you have no idea that anyone gives, anything about your idea. You're like, okay. But as soon as you get some people interested and they give you feedback, now you're starting to have an audience, and then you can start, you have a vision, but there's also the vision that the audience might be looking for. They take small games, small, 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 uh, and complete them.